Last night, my house spoke to me. Not through a voice, not through a person, but through my own phone. At 2:13 a.m., my phone sent me a message that simply said, "Stop pretending you live here." The strange part was, I never sent that message, and I live alone. My name is Emma Carter, and I moved into this house 3 months ago. It's a small 2-story house in a quiet neighborhood outside Portland. Nothing fancy, just old, really old. The landlord told me the house was built in the 1940s, but honestly, I liked it. Cheap rent, quiet street, perfect for someone who works from home like me. For the first few weeks, everything was normal. But then the messages started. The first message appeared on my phone at exactly 2:13 a.m. It woke me up. I thought it was a notification from Instagram or something. But when I unlocked my phone, the message was already open. No contact name, just a blank number. The message said, "You shouldn't be in my house." I stared at the screen for a moment, confused. Then I laughed. Probably a wrong number. So I ignored it and went back to sleep. The next night, it happened again. 2:13 a.m. My phone buzzed. Another message from the same number. This time it said, "You moved my chair." I sat up in bed, because earlier that day, I actually had moved a chair in the living room, just slightly closer to the window. It wasn't a big deal, but suddenly, the message felt weird. How would someone know that? I checked my doors. Locked. Windows. Closed. Nothing strange. So again, I convinced myself it was just a prank. Maybe someone guessed randomly. Maybe it was coincidence. But the messages kept coming. Every single night. Always at 2:13 a.m. Night 3. My phone buzzed again. This message said, "You opened the basement door." My stomach dropped, because I had opened the basement door earlier that day, just to look around. The basement was dark and unfinished. Concrete walls, old pipes, a single hanging light. It felt creepy, so I closed it immediately. And I definitely didn't tell anyone. Now someone or something knew. I typed back for the first time, "Who is this?" The reply came instantly, "You're sleeping in my room." I felt cold, really cold. I got out of bed and checked the house again. Everything looked normal, but as I walked past the hallway mirror, I noticed something strange. The basement door was open. I was sure I had closed it earlier. I slowly walked toward it. The basement light was on, and I definitely hadn't turned it on. The stairs creaked as I stepped down, each step echoing through the empty basement. When I reached the bottom, I saw something that made my heart start racing. There was a chair in the center of the basement, the same chair from my living room, and it was facing the stairs, like someone had been sitting there, watching, waiting. My phone buzzed again. Another message. "You finally came downstairs." I ran upstairs immediately, locked the basement door, and barely slept that night. The next day, I asked my neighbor if anyone had access to the house. Maybe the landlord, maybe maintenance, but the neighbor just shook his head. Then he said something strange. He asked me, "Have you heard the messages yet?" My stomach tightened. "What messages?" I asked. He looked uncomfortable. Then he told me something disturbing. The last tenant moved out after only 2 months, because she said the house kept sending her messages at night. That night, I stayed awake, waiting, watching my phone, and exactly at 2:13 a.m., it buzzed again. This time, it wasn't a text. It was a photo of my bedroom, taken from the corner of the room. While I was sitting in the bed, I slowly turned my head toward that corner. There was nothing there, just darkness, but the photo clearly showed someone standing behind me, holding the camera. Another message appeared. Now you see me. I ran to turn on the lights, but when I looked back at the phone, the figure behind me was gone. That's when I noticed something even worse. The timestamp on the photo. It wasn't taken seconds ago. It was taken 10 minutes in the future. My heart stopped, because that meant something in this house was about to happen, and whatever it was going to happen to me. My phone buzzed one last time. The final message said, "Don't turn around." And that's when I heard footsteps behind me. I slowly turned anyway, and saw the basement chair, sitting in the doorway of my bedroom, facing my bed. The chair in my doorway wasn't there before. I was absolutely sure of it, but now it sat there in the dark hallway, perfectly still, facing my bed. My heart was beating so loud, I could hear it in my ears. I slowly grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight. The light hit the chair. It was the same one from the basement, the old wooden chair with the cracked leg, but something about it felt wrong. The chair wasn't just sitting there. It was slightly rocking, back and forth, like someone had just stood up from it. My phone buzzed again. Another message appeared. You turned around. My hands started shaking. I typed back without thinking. What do you want? For a moment, nothing happened. Then the reply came. You weren't supposed to see me. Suddenly, the hallway light flickered. Once, twice, then everything went dark. Completely dark. The only light in the room was my phone. I could barely breathe. And then I heard footsteps, slow footsteps, coming from the hallway. Step, step, step. They stopped right outside my bedroom door. I pointed my flashlight toward the doorway, but the chair was gone. My stomach dropped. The hallway was empty, but the footsteps started again. This time, inside my room. I spun around quickly. Nothing, just my room, my bed, my desk, the mirror on the wall. Then my phone buzzed again. Another photo appeared. This one was different. It showed my bedroom again. But this time, I wasn't alone in the picture. Behind me stood a tall, shadowy figure, right next to my bed. I slowly turned around, but there was nothing there. My heart felt like it was going to explode. Another message appeared. You're looking the wrong way. A cold chill ran down my spine. I slowly looked toward the mirror on the wall, and that's when I saw it. In the reflection behind me, someone was standing there, a tall, dark figure, just watching me. But when I turned around, the room was empty again. I couldn't take it anymore. I ran out of the bedroom and straight toward the front door. I didn't even grab my keys. I just needed to get out. But when I reached the hallway, something stopped me. The basement door was open again, and the light was on. The same dim light, the same chair, sitting in the middle of the basement floor, facing the stairs. But this time, someone was sitting in it. A girl, long dark hair covering her face. She slowly lifted her head and looked up at me, and my blood turned to ice, because the girl sitting in that chair was me. My exact face, my exact eyes, my exact voice when she spoke. She smiled slowly and said, "Thank you for coming home." Before I could move, my phone buzzed one last time. The final message said, "You can leave now." The basement light suddenly went out, and the girl disappeared into the darkness. I don't remember running out of that house. I just remember waking up the next morning in my car, parked 2 blocks away. I never went back inside. The landlord says the house is empty now. No one lives there. But sometimes, at exactly 2:13 a.m., my phone still buzzes, and every time I check it, there's a new message waiting. From the same number. The message always says the same thing. Your room is still ready.